Hey, it's me again. I apologize for that buzzing in the background. It's my air conditioner. My room is just, I have my door shut and my room gets super hot in the summer when I close my door, no matter what the temperature is outside. Anyway, this is an autism video about functioning labels. Okay, despite the serious beginning, or the funny beginning, this is a serious video. Look at me, I'm having trouble talking today. God. Well, I'm autistic. You know, autistic people have trouble talking, communicating, so, you know, whatever. Functioning labels. You've heard them. High functioning autism, low functioning autism, mildly autistic, severely autistic. You know what I think of functioning labels? Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Why would you put your finger on their throat? Oops. Sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy joke. I am Groot. Anyway. By the way, I headcanon Drax and Groot as autistic. Groot is nonverbal, Drax is verbal. Anyway, going on. Functioning labels. Functioning labels are labels put on autistic people by people who are not autistic. And it sets the basis for how autistic people get treated. People that get called low functioning are usually nonverbal. They don't communicate the traditional way. Maybe they use an alternative device. Maybe they use sign language. But they don't communicate by talking like I am. So they're nonverbal. And they get assumed that they don't understand anything. They just get assumed that, you know, they don't have a function in society. Low functioning. They don't have a function for society. They just kind of exist. They're kind of there. They're not really people because, you know, they exist and they're just there. And they sit and they rock in the corner all day. Then you got high functioning, which is what I get called. You call me high functioning after seeing this video. Slap yourself twice for me, okay? So next time you call me high functioning after seeing this video, you need to do this. Just to remind yourself of what I'm saying. When people get called high functioning, their autistic issues, they get invalidated and minimized. Because they're supposed to be high functioning. They're not supposed to have difficulties with anything except maybe communicating and socializing. But it's not supposed to get in the way. They're supposed to be able to just shut it off and be normal anytime they want. You know, maybe sometimes they don't look autistic, but then when they say they are, you don't believe it. And you say the dreaded line, well, you don't look autistic. Why? Don't say that. Don't say that. I do look autistic because I'm autistic. And the person that lives across the country from me who is autistic looks autistic because they're autistic. Autistic people look different. You know, hello, we come in all different shapes, sizes, skin colors, hair colors, eye colors, languages. You know, we're all unique. And the autism spectrum itself, it's not, well, somebody's on this part of the spectrum and somebody's over down here on this part of the spectrum. No. It's more like spectroscopy, where when you light up the chemical elements, they create different color lines. And scientists and people that are good at that kind of stuff, they can read the color lines and figure out what the element is by the color lines. But if you just took the names of the elements off and put your name and your friends' names and the names of autistic people you know, that's the autism spectrum. Alright? There is no high functioning and low functioning. There isn't. It doesn't exist. That is, like I said, something that not autistic people make up to fit this esoteric social hierarchical makeup. Oh my god, I used big words, didn't I? But yeah, I can sometimes. Sometimes. Most of the time, I simplify my speech not because I have issues with other people's intelligence. It's just easier for me to say smaller words that are easier to understand without getting lost in what I'm trying to say. But seriously, functioning labels, stop using them. If you want to use like terms that help to express how much help a person needs, use support levels. You got a low support person who is basically self-sufficient. They might just have some sensory issues, but they can deal with them on their own. They live on their own. Maybe they're married or not married. You know, autism has no bearing on whether someone can get married or not, but you know, some of them don't want to get married. I'm ambivalent about it. But you know, they're self-sufficient. They don't need help. They drive, you know, they go to work, whatever. They do everything basically just like anybody who's not autistic, but they might have sensory issues or they can't stand crowds. And then you got people like me who are medium support. I don't drive. I don't cook, except grilled cheese sandwiches. My grilled cheese sandwiches are the best ones you will ever eat, I promise. So someday I will cook one for you. I don't know, if I ever meet you, whoever's watching someday, maybe I'll make you a grilled cheese sandwich. But I don't drive, I don't cook, and I don't work. And people give me like, what? When I say that I don't work, when they ask me, what do you do? I have very debilitating sensory issues. But because I'm verbal and because, you know, I can manage to do things like go to choir and choir parties and choir festivals and stuff on my own, and, you know, I can walk to some places on my own, and, you know, I don't write checks or anything, but I can pay with cash, and, you know, I can purchase things, and, you know, I could order a pizza on the phone or something like that. They think that because I can do those things that, well, why can you do this but not this? It's complicated to explain it all in just a one go, but, you know, there are things that I need help with. I can't live independently. I can't live independently. And my being aware of myself, you know, lets me be able to say that and admit that to myself, and I'm not ashamed of it. You know what? I refuse to be ashamed of that, because society wants me to be ashamed of that, but I refuse to be. I just solved my Pingle. Well, technically it's not a puzzle, but I've been trying to do this for 2 days, and I just did it while I was, anyway. Anyway, I'm very stimmy today, but, you know, there are people that think, well, you can do this thing but not this thing, but it's really complicated to explain. But, you know, I have my deficits, and somebody else will have similar or different deficits, but they're still medium support like me. I can do some things for myself. I can take a shower and get dressed and put on my makeup and put on my earrings and stuff like that. But if you asked me to clean up a cluttered room, I would be like, oh God, where do I start? You know, it's, you know, I would need help to get started, and then I'll be okay with it. But, you know, those are the kind of things that, you know, I get stuck on. But because people say I'm high functioning, I shouldn't have a problem with that. Well, sorry to say, but I do. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. It's me. It's who I am. Now you get to the high support people. These are the people who may be nonverbal, but, you know, they could be able to speak too. You know, you shouldn't use people's ability to speak as a marker for their abilities. But they're the people that need help with the basic daily living skills, like getting dressed, making their bed, putting on their shoes, brushing their teeth, eating, taking a shower, going somewhere to buy food, grocery shopping. You know, those things, they need a lot of help. They just need a lot of help with basically most of the things that they do. That's high support people. And support labels do not assume things about people's intelligence. They don't assume things about what they can or can't do. It just says they need help with these things, but maybe not these things. I challenge you to Google someone named Amy Sequenzia. She is high support, but read her blogs, and you'll see she's competent. That's another thing with autism that people don't do, is they hear low functioning and they assume that someone is not competent and they can't understand what's being said to them. No! When you see an autistic person, assume that they understand everything you say. They may not be able to tell you that. They may not be able to respond to you. But you should always assume an autistic person can understand what you're saying. Always. Even if they can't speak. Even if all they do is sit there and go like this. And they don't acknowledge you at all. You know, I can have moments like that. But I'm competent. But you know that because I can talk. So you just assume that I am competent because I can talk. But people who can't talk get assumed incompetent all the time. So remember, functioning labels are bull crap. Take the notions of functioning labels, take them out of your head right now, like this. Now walk into your bathroom, drop them in the toilet, and flush them away like the crap they are. And flush twice so the stink doesn't stay. Functioning labels are useless. They are crap. They are nothing. They should not exist because they create incorrect assumptions about autistic people. Get rid of functioning labels. Use support levels. It's a lot more dignified. Now before I close, I just want to say that when people create functioning labels in relation to autism, they are also setting up this ridiculous social hierarchy that should not exist. It's like saying, well, I'm above this person, I'm above this person, well, I'm below this person. I would treat the Pope, the President, the Queen of England, a homeless guy on the street, and a school teacher the same way. You know, I would use the honorifics for the people who have social titles that make them figures of authority. But they're still human beings. And so are teachers and homeless people and people who are disabled in ways that maybe they contribute to society in ways you can't see. So you shouldn't judge people based on their disability or basically anything. You shouldn't judge people. You should get to know them and, you know, make up your own mind instead of someone saying, oh, he's low functioning, you know, he just sits in the corner and he's happy. No. Someone says that to me, I'll walk up to the person and speak to them myself and be like, F you and your opinions, take them and shove them up your butt, twist it sideways and twist some more. That's what functioning labels need to do, is just die. Functioning labels need to die. Okay? Don't use them anymore.